Hi, Scott Orlin with CINEMA-Magazin. The new TV series is called Dirty John, the Betty Broderick story. And Betty Broderick herself is here, Amanda Peet. Amanda, talk a little bit about, as this is really based on an actual incident, how much did you want to go back and kind of do any type of research on the actual instance?
Well, when I first sat down with Alexandra, she told me that she didn't want me to do an imitation of Betty Broderick. I mean, we don't have much video footage of her until the point of the trial anyway. So she told me she wanted to just explore this psychological portrait. And so I guess I felt like the writing was so detailed and intimate and compelling that I really just relied on Alexandra. And if I had a question, I mostly just went to Alexandra and I'd say, did she really say this? Or how did this really happen? And she usually knew the answer.
What's really fascinating about watching this unfold, and I was just talking to Christian about this too, is our allegiances switch in a way during the evolution of the show, because when we first watch it, we think Betty's a little crazy. And then when we start to go back, we understand that it was psychological and emotional abuse that kind of got her to that point. It doesn't justify her actions. But did that help you understand? Was there a headspace you needed to get into?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, I mean, I'm going to be frank. I was scared to play a murderer. I was scared to play someone who would murder the father of her own children and an innocent woman. So I think part of my job was to try to empathize as much as possible with her and put myself in her shoes and try to justify and explain her actions, some of which were, deplorable and despicable, and then in the end, murderous. So it was hard for me to let go of my judgment, but I guess I felt like that was my job to do. And it was easier, as you're saying, when the parts of the story that explore the social mores in which she grew up, and how women were taught to just be someone's wife. Once you've landed a man and you're someone's wife, all of your sense of fulfillment in life would come from that. And then when Dan started to move away from her, and also started to say that he wasn't moving away from her and she smelled fire, but there was no smoke, I think Alexandra gave a really complicated picture of how someone can go mad.
Well, I'm speaking of going mad, and I do not want to get overly personal, so you'll have a little fun with this. You're married, you have kids, but your husband for 8 years kept traipsing over to Europe to do Game of Thrones. Does that drive a person mad, or was that a sense of adventure for both of you in a way?
I hope I don't sound annoying, but it was really a wonderful adventure. And it's hard to explain to people how dubious we were. Dan's wife and I were just like, this is never going to work. I mean, we saw the first dailies of Game of Thrones and we wanted to crawl under a rug because we thought they were so embarrassing. And we were just like, well, no one's going to watch this. So we'll just be in Belfast for this couple of months and then we'll be back in the States and it'll all be over. So neither of us have lived that down, by the way. It was a beautiful adventure, and possibly most importantly, it was a beautiful adventure to live in Belfast in Northern Ireland and get to know that city and the people of that city.
There's a great song from a musical company called The Ladies Who Lunch, which is kind of a toast to this very specific breed of women, which this show showcases entirely, that their husbands are off doing things and they go and they have their little cocktails and their lunches. What do you think of that particular slice of womanhood that existed? I don't know. I mean, I think it's still happening, but.
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's a leisure class thing. Obviously, you have to have a certain socioeconomic status to be able to spend your day that way. And I think probably Alexandra was implying that it was part of her downfall, to the extent that she set up this incredible illusion about how fulfilling it would be to be married to the right person and be the right kind of mother and have the right kind of friends in the right kind of town, the right kind of house. And when you stake all your sense of identity is investing in these kind of illusions, you're in for a rude awakening, and in this case, a very tragic one. But it makes me sad, and I think I would be leery of anyone whose lifestyle allowed for them to do that all day, every day. And that's.
Did it give you a different appreciation of what women had to go through with the hair and makeup of the dressing of that time?
Sorry, hold on. Decline.
Oh.
Did I get you back? Sorry.
Yeah, you're back. That's okay. That's the joy of doing these Zoom things. The phone rings. Life just happens. We are not in a controlled environment anymore.
Bust down the illusion. Wait, I forgot the question.
About women, the hair, the makeup, the femininity of that particular period.
Yeah, I was reading this essay recently that Zadie Smith wrote, and she was talking about her daughter versus her son and how her daughter started taking more time to get ready for school than her son. And she gave a warning to her daughter and said, don't do that, because in the end, all those minutes add up to hours, and all those hours add up to days, and all those days add up to months where your brother was cultivating other things about himself while you were busy worrying about what you were going to wear to school. And that was very powerful to me. I'm guilty of it. I mean, I love clothes and I love shopping and stuff, but it was very powerful to me when she just spelled it out that way.
Well, I appreciate you cultivating these few moments to talk to me. As always, Amanda, it is such a pleasure. The show is mesmerizing. So congratulations on it.
Thank you very much.
Scott Orlin. Until next time.
Be safe.
Same to you, and healthy.